Hey guys, how are you? Happy Monday. Do you like money? Do you like a little extra money? I bet you do. If you like money and you want to save a little bit of it on your mortgage, go to trustedamerican.com. Trusted American Mortgage wants to get you into a better interest rate, a better mortgage, help you save some money. How does that sound? Go to trustedamerican.com to see how much they can save you today.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Woohoo! What's up?
Hey, Nate.
Hey, Scott Shaffer.
Guys, welcome to Off Field. I'm Scott Shaffer. This is former/forever Denver Bronco tight end, Nate Jackson.
What's up?
We've got 4 quarters of some football fun for you guys.
Yeah.
But first of all, Nate, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Spring break,
that's right.
for the kiddos, and the weather's getting a little nicer, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's good. But the problem is, like, when you have spring break with the kiddos, you got to figure out what to do with them.
Sure.
For a week.
They're always around.
They're always around, wanting to eat, wanting snacks and crap like that.
Those are two of the same things.
Yeah. Well, no, it's different because, like, wanting to eat for me is like breakfast, lunch, or dinner, right?
Yeah.
And so I put a meal in front of this guy's face that I worked hard on making.
Yeah.
These chicken nuggets,
Dino Nugs.
Dino Nugs. We've graduated off the Dino Nugs.
Oh, why?
I don't know. It's more substantial.
Let
Just
him
nuggets.
Let him
man.
be a kid.
No,
No.
he's got to grow up. He's got to grow up.
He's already got a job down at the
Yeah,
refinery.
no, he does. That's where he is right now.
That's
So,
good.
no, but like they don't want to eat the food you make them.
Sure.
They say they're not hungry. Their belly's telling them they're not hungry anymore. 5 minutes later, they want a snack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
What is your kid's go-to want snack after not eating dinner, basically?
what do you mean go-to want snack?
Well, like, what's he want when after he pushes your delicious
Oh.
meal away? What does he
Fruit
go
roll
for?
up.
Yeah.
Graham crackers.
Fruit roll-ups are timeless.
Granola bars.
Granola
Lollipop.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Good.
Like really nutritious stuff.
Sure, some Sour Patch Kids.
Goldfish, maybe.
I hate goldfish.
He loves them. Man.
Ah,
What
just eating
do you
them.
hate about goldfish?
I think I've just had too many Cheez-Its in my life, and Cheez-Its are better. They're superior.
They're more flavorful.
I think that's the kind of the point. Isn't
Yeah.
it, of
Well,
a
you can eat
snack?
more goldfish. Like
You can eat a lot more goldfish.
yeah, and they have rainbow goldfish, which don't
Oh.
taste any different. They're just like
Look, they're fun.
aesthetically more pleasing.
I get that.
Yeah.
Kids like fun, colorful stuff.
Yeah. So how was your weekend, man? You did some stand-up comedy,
Did
right?
some stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Had a one-nighter in Kit Carson, Colorado, over there in Eastern Colorado.
Oh, cool.
It was a beautiful thing. It was a comedy show plus fundraiser for their fire department, which is always a volunteer fire department,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it turned into a party. They
It's a
made some,
volunteer fire department.
yep. And
Wow.
so basically to keep funds alive and to keep those
Oh,
guys
wow.
kind of like equipped.
Yeah.
Had a silent auction. They did
Raise
a
some
little-
money.
Oh, absolutely. Chili and cinnamon roll
Wow.
cook-off.
That's yummy.
It was great.
And beer.
Oh, they had everything. It's BYOB, but there was,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, some people brought in the stuff to the show, and then some people just had it in their car, and we just went to their car. And,
Oh, really?
oh yeah. I don't know
Wow.
why they're trying to hide. They're trying to hide the good stuff. They brought the kind of the cheap stuff in.
They're
Yeah.
like, come on out with
It
us.
was a great show though, so I appreciate everyone at Kit Carson, Colorado for having me.
Sweet, man. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for joining me on Off Field.
Love it being here.
Yeah, exactly. You're full disclosure, this guy's from Kansas City.
Sorry
right.
about it.
He's a Chiefs fan. But that
You caught me at a
we're not gonna
vulnerable
hold that
state.
against
You caught me
We're-
at a vulnerable state.
We're not going to hold it against.
That's right.
Yeah.
I live here now in Denver though, so
You do.
that's what I consume my
Will
life.
you
with.
ever become a Broncos fan?
I think honestly, as long as they're not the Raiders, I'm good.
What?
You know?
What? They're in the division with your team.
I know, but I just feel like I've met too many Raiders fans, and I feel like Denver Bronco fans are good fans.
They're good
Raider fans are just obnoxious. I'm sure that they think Kansas City fans are obnoxious too. But yeah, lived in LA, did that thing, and
Yeah, you did.
just was surrounded by Raiders fans. Good Lord, the was it the black hole.
Yeah.
Those guys with the spikes on their pads. It's just too
Yeah.
much for me.
Yeah.
No,
Have you-
I like the Denver Broncos fans. They're good, wholesome fans
It's been fun.
who love incomplete passes. You guys love. incomplete-
It's been fun for you to watch your team beat up on the Broncos since you moved here.
Well,
right?
it has just changed the last 2 years, the last 2 seasons. We've the Chiefs have lost a couple of games to
That's true.
the Broncos.
Well, Sean Payton said after their loss to the Bills in the playoffs, we felt good about next week's matchup if we had won this.
Oh.
And that matchup was with your guys. Oh,
Yeah.
you did. You don't believe on that one. You don't believe that one. Huh?
Don't worry about that one. I don't listen to the media, even though right now I'm in it.
Yeah, you
Right?
are. You are. Well, let's get into it, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that we do 4 quarters over here with all this football topics, and so
Yep.
let's get into quarter 1.
Yep.
And this is kind of the topic right now. I stepped over the whistle. What am I doing?
No,
Rookie-
you're good. You're good.
No, but it's basically LeJordan Humphrey,
Lil Jordan.
which great name, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a great name. I looked it up. We'll do some more on that later.
Yeah.
But the thing is, LeJordan Humphrey
Lil Pippin is
did not. Oh wait, yeah, Lil Pippin,
Lil Pippin.
Lil
Lil Bird.
well, I just went like a Lil Will Purdue. You
Oh
know?
yeah.
Just go
Lil
old
Purdue,
school.
yeah.
Lil Purdue.
Lil Steve Kerr.
Yeah, Lil Kerr. Actually, Lil Kerr ain't a bad
Lil
name.
Paxton.
Yeah, Lil Paxton. Also, we
Yeah.
just go do Bushler, Judd Bushler,
Oh yeah.
Lil Bush. Well, the thing is, I think a lot of Broncos fans are wondering, and we talked about this earlier. Was he traded? Did he leave?
Yeah, he was a free agent.
Yeah.
Lil Jordan Humphrey signed with the New York Giants at the end of last week or whatever. We haven't talked about it since. And I want to talk about Lil Jordan today because he's a very polarizing player on the Broncos.
Sure.
One of Sean Payton's guys.
Yep.
Brought him over from New Orleans.
Mhm.
Sean Payton didn't have a lot of those guys, but he had a handful. And it was for Sean Payton, it was really important to have those guys.
Little safety net kind of.
Not
thing.
just a safety net, but guys who know what he expects.
Yeah.
And can articulate that to the rest of the locker room who don't know what he expects. So when a rookie comes in, he watches the veterans go to work and he follows that.
Yeah.
For me, that was Rod Smith. I got here. Rod had been here for 10, 12 years already,
Sure.
won a couple Super Bowls, was the man, did everything right on and off the field. I followed Rod. Whatever Rod did, I did. He
Sure.
went into the stall. I followed him in there. He
Of
said, "What are
course,
you
yeah.
doing, Nate?
Yeah.
Get
Little-
outta here.
Little swords.
I'm trying to take a dump."
Oh, he's
That's
pooping.
not how Rod
We can
talks.
double decker that thing.
Yeah.
You just sit on his
come
lap.
on, Rod.
Yeah.
It'll be
You
fun.
can do it. It's called teamwork, Rod. I mean, I
Right,
don't know.
exactly.
Do you have to tell him that?
He was a team player, but not, I guess,
I was
that,
just saying,
that
he
much
had a
of a team.
limit, which I understand. We all
Yeah.
need boundaries.
But I followed Rod.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Lil Jordan Humphrey had the resume of Rod Smith, but he knew what to expect as far as Sean Payton's system on and off the field. He knew what practice is supposed to look like. He knew what he expects in the weight room, out there training, running, and lifting before the coaches ever get there in April. He knows every receiver position. He's a special teams. What were you gonna say?
Well, when he came into the organization with
Yeah.
Sean, do guys on the Broncos kind of look at him like, hey, are they peppering him with questions? What's Sean like? What are his practices like?
Absolutely.
What's his temperament like? What does he hate?
Absolutely.
What does he love?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
You
so
know,
he's that guy who can answer those questions.
He can answer those questions.
Mm.
And he's a kind of a jack of all trades dude. Now, when I put out like a tweet about it saying Lil Jordan Humphrey is going to be missed with the
Yeah.
Broncos, he's a point of attack blocker, sets the tone. He actually has really good ball skills. I think he's the best Broncos receiver with the ball in his hands as far as breaking tackles.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of pushback online.
Sure.
Like people hate Lil Jordan Humphrey because he dropped a couple passes and
Right.
admittedly he had a fumble. He had a couple of moments this last season that were not shining moments for
Sure.
him.
And so that's probably what they're dwelling on.
They
at this
are
moment.
because they don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people watch games and just look at the ball and the stats and like, you dropped a couple passes, you're
Yep.
worthless. But that's not why really he's on the roster. He's on the roster to do all the dirty work. He's on
Yeah.
the roster to go kick ass in the running game. He's on the roster to play some special teams. He's on the roster to do anything that Sean Payton needs him to do in any given game. And he caught 31 passes this last year.
Look that up, yeah.
He was
He
fourth.
averaged just under 10 yards a catch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only had one touchdown. He had 3 the previous year, but 31 catches for your number 4 receiver is pretty good.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah. And so I don't know what people were expecting of him.
Well, yeah. So I don't even think the coaches would be asking for more of a workload from him than that, right?
And that to me is why he decided to go elsewhere.
So was he looking kind of not to be a 4? Is he looking to move up?
He's looking to be the man.
So-
and so he's at a point in his career. He's played for 5 or 6 seasons already. The last 2 seasons he's played in 17 games and been healthy. And so he wants more passes.
Okay.
And to me, the writing is on the wall here. Number one, Cortland Sutton is going to get a lot of balls. He's going to be your starter.
Sure.
The ascension of Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims kind of caught fire at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So he's like, they want him to be the number 2. And then Devon Vele, who
Vele,
came out of
yep.
nowhere and had
A great season.
41 catches or 39 or 41 or something like that. And then they like Troy Franklin. They want to
Yep.
bring him along, right?
Well, that's Bo Nix connection. They want
Right.
to make that work.
Right. Right. And so where does little Jordan Humphreys fit in there? Kind of the odd man out.
Yeah.
But to me, there was still a possibility for him. And you also got to consider the Broncos running backs catch a lot of passes. Running backs under Sean Payton, they catch a lot of passes. back in the day in New Orleans when they were breaking records, Darren Sproles was catching like 80 passes a year.
Sure.
Reggie Bush catching a ton of passes out of the backfield for Sean Payton. Jaleel McLaughlin, Javonte Williams, they caught a lot of passes last year.
Yeah.
So, to me, the only place that he would fit catching balls is maybe as a tight end. And I thought like he could, because I had to transition from receiver to tight end.
Sure.
Well, and I think he could have done that too.
Yeah.
But when they signed Evan Ingram is where I was going with this. To me, that was a writing on the wall for him where he's like, where
there
are the
goes
balls?
the TD catches.
There
right
are no
there.
passes coming my way.
Sure.
And so he decided to go to New York Giants, who have been a dumpster fire, and play with Jameis Winston and Brian Daboll, who's like had one winning season out of 3 or 4, and an organization that's been in turmoil. So he's leaving Sean Payton, his guy, where he was a made man under this organization who made the playoffs for the first time in a long time, and he's going elsewhere. And it's because so he can earn a larger role in the offense and make more money.
So that was that perfect segue into the money thing. So I looked up his contract. It's a 1-year deal. I think it's $1.2 million. So is this like kind of I'm going to go to an organization I think I can get more catches? And is this like a prove it year?
Prove it. Yeah.
Totally?
Yep.
That's what a 1-year contract is. I'm a hired gun. I'm basically auditioning for every other team for next season.
Yep. Prove it. And I think that he's gambling on himself. He feels that he deserves a larger role in the offense. He wants the opportunity to get that, and he's willing to leave a team on the rise, coached by a guy he knows how to win, and a team that he meant a lot to. And now he's going off into New York, and who knows what can happen. But the thing is, if you're a number 4 receiver on a team, your ceiling financially is kind of limited.
Sure.
If he can go to New York and be a number 2 guy there, and put up, have 50, 60 catches and, 8, 9 touchdowns and that kind of season, then he could sign a real big deal. And it's one he probably wouldn't have a chance to do here.
So I guess this is also kind of maybe this gets us moving into
quarter number 2.
Quarter number 2. Get the whistle. There it was. Good whistle. It's a good whistle. That was probably free online. But is he good enough? Is he good enough to be? Well, let's just ask this in 2 parts. Was he good when he was here in Denver? Is he good enough to be a number 2 for an organization like the Giants, who necessarily aren't really there? They're not in the playoff picture.
Yeah.
They're in turmoil all the time. They just got rid of Saquon Barkley. He wins the Super Bowl. I don't know why they kept giving Danny Dimes the contract. Yeah. So A, was he good here for the Broncos? And B, do you think he'll see success as a number 2 or 3 with the Giants?
Yeah, I see yes to both of those questions. I think he was a pleasant surprise here.
Yeah.
Was kind of brought in as a guy who may or may not make the roster.
Yeah.
He made it. He played in every game the last 2 seasons. He had 13 catches in 2023 and 31 last year, which is a significant jump.
Great.
And
you said, he was healthy those last 2 years.
Healthy the last 2 seasons. 31 catches on a team where Cortland Sutton had 81, Marvin Mims had 50 or something like that. Vele was in the 40s, or maybe Marvin Mims had 39, but Vele and Mims had more than him. There was 0 production in the tight end room, but that's going to change with Evan Ingram. I think he found a way to get involved in an offense where he was not primary at all. He was like the 4th guy, but 4th option receiving wise, but he started 7 games, which means they liked him out there at the beginning to set the tone physically on running plays, and even just being able to do the right thing when he's running routes when he's not getting the ball. Because people look at stats, they think, okay, how was your game? You didn't catch a lot of passes. You must not have impacted the game a lot. Well, there are ways that guys impact the game that are not seen in the stat sheet.
Sure.
There's one ball, right, that goes around, and there's 53 guys on a team, 45 guys suit up for a game. 2 guys touch the ball on every play, maybe 3. I guess the center, quarterback, and the guy he gives it to.
I've heard that the center always touches it.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the quarterback always touches his balls.
Yeah, now we're
the back of his hand.
Now we're just getting into.
Did you know that?
I know.
Yeah,
they couldn't have smelled good.
No, Jake Plummer used to like 1 year in particular. He walked up at training camp. He's like, smell this. I'm like, I'm not fucking smelling it.
Yeah.
He couldn't get the center's
scent,
Grundle scent off of the back of his hand. He was scrubbing it. He was scrubbing it between practices, and it wouldn't get off because this guy had such bad hygiene.
Jeez.
And it's like, I remember that 2003. Yeah. 7th round draft pick.
It's a 2003 vintage. Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah.
Oh man. So 3 guys touch the ball every play. What are the other 8 guys doing?
Sure.
What are the receivers who are not getting the ball doing? they have specific jobs to open up space and be and occupy certain defenders to let other guys get open. And then when other guys do catch the ball, then you got to run and block for them. Little Jordan Humphrey was a complete player who had the respect of his teammates, and then he's going to get an opportunity elsewhere. But I think he represents the idea of a glue guy.
Yeah.
And you hear this all the time.
You mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, what's a glue guy? What is a glue guy?
I'll say it. Hey, Nate, what's a glue guy?
Yeah, it's not a dude who, sits in the corner sniffing Elmers.
Yeah.
All right.
It's also not a guy who kills horses.
No,
no.
No, glue guy is a guy whose influence on the team is, like I was saying, more bigger than stats. He, whether he's a veteran and he has, his personality is one that he's a leader. Whether he just like I was talking about with Sean Payton, he knows the system, so he's able to articulate it.
Yep.
He comes to work and works his ass off every day. He's like Jaleel McLaughlin, who's an undrafted guy who gets there at like 6 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
And he's always setting the pace. To me, it's like you're a lead car on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Because the best guys on the team aren't always the hardest workers.
Sure.
Sometimes they're slackers.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't want to come to work, and they don't have great work ethic. And it's the guys who do have that who make these dudes work harder.
Yeah.
Because you can't slack because these dudes are on your team. They bring it every day. And then off the field, they're fun.
Yeah.
In the locker room,
Little
they're
vibe
cool.
higher.
Yeah. Like they joke. Maybe they're the class clown.
Sure.
Maybe they bring levity.
Yeah.
Maybe they're the guys who tell jokes when everyone's miserable, right?
Yep.
And get everybody going.
That guy's important in the locker room.
Very important.
And I'm sure there's not just one. There's multiple, but I'm guessing that you think he was one of those guys.
I think he was one of the guys because he was a Sean Payton guy.
Sure.
And they offered him a contract, which means they like him enough to offer him a contract. But
like you said, he just saw the writing on the wall.
Saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
He wants more for himself.
Yep.
And
which I get.
And it's that's a question you have to ask yourself as a professional athlete when you get these chances, because not a lot of guys do.
Yeah.
Not a lot of guys get to the point where they're offered multiple contracts from multiple teams.
Sure.
So that says he's done something right.
Yeah.
The average career is it's under 3 years in the NFL.
Sure.
Most guys don't see a second contract.
Yeah.
So little Jordan Humphrey has fought to stay in the league, and he's going to get an opportunity with the Giants. But the glue guys, that you don't see their influence until they leave.
Well, I think, yeah. So like you said, the Broncos offered him, and he just turned it down and went to the Giants. But I think the Giants probably saw that the Broncos offered him. So like kind of in a certain way, like good enough for you, good enough for us. That tells us a lot, because if you wanted him and he wanted just more catches, he maybe wanted more money, we can deal with that. We'll take that over here, because they probably saw the writing on the wall too. The 2 tight ends, all the backfield passes you got coming out. Yeah, he probably saw it. They saw it. Like, let's make a deal.
Yeah, I think his skill
and improve it here.
Yeah, he has a skill set that I think is pretty attractive to offensive-minded coaches.
Yeah.
He's a big receiver who can run, who has instincts with the ball in his hand. He used to be a running back, so he breaks tackles really well.
Running back in college?
I think in high school,
maybe.
Okay. Yeah,
sure.
But he was a converted running back, and he's just got the size to do a lot of stuff on offense, and the physicality and the toughness, and he's smart because he played in Sean Payton's system for so long. That's a complicated system to learn, and so I think that what he did on tape probably was more interesting to the Giants than the fact that the Broncos offered him a contract.
Yeah.
I mean, the Broncos didn't offer him a big deal. I think they probably offered him something similar.
Yeah,
but he decided that his opportunity was better elsewhere, and his agent.
There's more of a workload somewhere else.
More of a workload, more of an opportunity to climb the ladder.
So since he's on this kind of mercenary 1-year deal, right? Yeah. He's a hired gun. Is that going to be difficult to learn a new system all in one season and shine?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, that's definitely a concern. Brian Daboll is a pretty smart offensive coach, but he hasn't had a lot of success.
Sure.
He was a coach of the year his first year with the Giants.
Yep.
They made the playoffs. I think they went 9-7-1.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a great year, but they won a playoff game.
They did. I remember that.
And ever since then, they haven't been very good.
No.
I actually spent a week with Brian Daboll as my offensive coordinator.
Do we have a name-dropping graphic, guys? Do we have a name dropper?
With the Cleveland Browns.
I'll get one for the
Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
2009 training camp. They were horrible that year, and Brian Daboll was a big reason he sucked.
Yeah.
As a coach, because he was learning how to do it, but it was completely complicated. Like, to your point about will he be able to pick up the system enough to be able to get in there and make plays? That's a concern for sure, because I'm sure Brian Daboll's learned a lot in 15 years.
I hope so.
But that system wasn't good. Everyone was confused. I got there, I was like, they were trying to teach me because I got there at the end of training camp.
Yeah.
My coach was like the tight end coach was trying to teach me, and he was having a hard time explaining it. Like he was like,
maybe he didn't understand
no.
it.
And then I'd ask players like, hey, what's going on? He's like, man,
I don't know.
Like, I don't even know. Don't ask me. Like we were all confused here.
I feel like the headline of this show is Nate Jackson says Brian Daboll sucks, but then underneath it says, but he was at 2009 and he didn't know what he was doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he had a couple good years.
Sure.
With Josh Allen.
Yep.
Really good years. Like, 17, 18, 19.
And we're not going to compare
18, 19,
Daniel Jones to Josh Allen. Those are just two different animals.
Yeah. But, a lot of it is circumstance and where you end up
Sure.
and like, the team around you and all that. But I think little Jordan Humphrey will go there, and his work ethic and the guy he is will.
Here's a fun little quick question.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a certain monetary value for being considered a glue guy?
Oh, absolutely.
Is it like $500,000 added to your salary?
Yeah, they might do a little signing bonus for that.
Maybe they wanted to give him like $750, but then you're like, here's 1.2.
And you know what? Your agent knows that you're a glue guy, and so the conversation you're having is about your value, Scott, above and beyond what you're doing on the field. Like your value in the locker room.
Yep.
Like the fact that they know what to expect. You're going to be on time every day. You're going to know the system. You're going to work your ass off. You're a fun dude. You represent the organization well out in public.
Sure.
You go to these charity events and people like you. You know how to talk to people in the community. This is all very valuable stuff.
Absolutely. And I think there is a monetary value for it because if you're going to talk about the word, everyone loves the word culture around. Now, if you're going to build a culture as you claim to do it, you need those guys.
I was a glue guy.
Yeah, you were.
I was a freaking glue
guy. Look at you. You're so sticky.
Hey.
You're such a glue guy. Just do little replacements.
Yeah.
Just can't get the ball out of my hand.
Yeah, dude. Like I was, and when I negotiated a new contract later in my career, that was part of like my agent's pitch, of course. Like,
sure.
You know who Nate is, you know what he's going to do, and on and off the field, blah, blah, blah.
That is a good pitch from coming from the agent too, because now you don't have to like train a guy to try and be this guy on the field and different off the field. You already know what you're getting.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
I think Bill Belichick, famous for a kind of a quote like give me a guy who's a 7 every day instead of a guy who's a 10 one day and a 2 the next day.
Coaches do hate inconsistency.
Exactly. We know what to expect from this guy. He may not be the most talented dude on the planet.
Sure.
But we know what to expect from him every day. We know when we give him a job, he completes the job.
Yep.
That's really valuable for a coach to know what you're going to do. I don't have to worry about you.
Yep.
And I think Sean Payton lost that guy. So, he's got some other, he still has those guys in the building.
Sure. Like, like we said, he's not the only glue guy with the Broncos, but he's one of them. And
but he lost one of his dudes.
You got to replace. Yeah.
And there is an inner circle there at Broncos headquarters, a New Orleans inner circle.
Sure.
He's brought in guys that were loyalists there and made sort of a cool kids club here.
Yep.
And if you're not in that club, you're kind of like on the outside looking in a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a great thing. I don't think it is.
I think it just happens though. There's a lot of kind of cliquish behavior no matter what organization you're in. But also I think when it comes to the Broncos, now he's been there for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So he's starting to form those cliques within the Broncos too. It's not just the Saints guys anymore. When he brought over the Saints guys, maybe they kind of stuck out, but now he's forming his own crew now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, slowly. Yeah. But a lot of the old time Broncos organizational people and operational people, medical people have slowly disappeared.
I gotcha.
Because of, he's brought his own people
in.
Which is, you're right.
It's,
you take control of the situation for better or for worse. You bring in your own guys.
Super rare for assistant coaches to stay when a different head coach comes in.
I was a victim of that. Josh McDaniels came in and took, then clear cut the Mike Shanahan forest.
Sure.
And I was one of those trees.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, not good. That's the thing. Like sometimes you bring it in your own circle. You fucked it up because this was actually a pretty good circle. This guy knew what he was doing. The guy who built this.
You need a guy on the inside. Yeah. Like, hey, stick around. I'll keep you. And then you tell all these other guys how great I am.
Right. He didn't have that.
No, he didn't have that. But also, we've got that. Okay.
Yeah.
We're 2 glue guys over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got 2 glue guys. What did I do? I forget that these things move.
No.
Yeah. And now 2 glue guys. I think we're going to halftime.
Let's go to halftime.
I think we're going to halftime.
All right. How about we do a little trivia time?
I love trivia.
Do you?
Yes.
What do you love about it?
I love it because I think people don't give themselves enough credit for the nonsense that's rattling around their head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think like you can just, figure stuff out as you just take a minute, a deep breath.
Okay.
Be a glue guy and just not freak out when you hear the question. So
I'm going to give you the question.
Okay.
All right. As a Kansas City Chiefs
That's
fan,
right.
a guy who thinks Patrick Mahomes is like on track to be the greatest of all time. Right?
I'm on record for saying it.
All right, yeah. He's like what, probably number 3 or 4 right now.
Yeah.
People think he's number 2, but he slipped below Joe Montana.
Yep.
With the Super Bowl loss. Would you agree?
The undefeated, really.
Would you agree that the Super Bowl loss kind of drops him below Joe in that talk?
I think it drops him below for another season.
Yeah.
I think like it's not.
You don't think the Super Bowl ass whoopings that he's taken? Because Joe Montana never lost the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
4 for 4, has never thrown an interception in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes has not.
Mahomes is great TV for when he's winning, but when he loses, it's bad TV because that Tampa Bay Super Bowl and this last one were just snoozers,
snooze fest,
snoozers.
Man.
Well, I wasn't snoozing; I was drinking heavily by halftime. I was buying people shots that weren't asking for shots. I was just handing them to them.
Because you were coping.
Yeah. And I don't have optimism in me. And so I was just like being a pessimist. I'm like, this is it. I'm done.
Before we get into the trivia, this is about career touchdown passes.
Yep.
How many do you think Patrick Mahomes has?
Oh, career what passes?
Yeah.
He's, what is he, 29?
Yep. He's played 8 seasons.
And he had that 50 burger in 1 year.
That was his first year.
Yep.
Which is insane. He threw 50 touchdowns in his first
year. And now
season.
I think he's like throwing like.
He only threw like 26 this last year.
Loser. He sucks.
He kind of does.
We should put in who's our we have Gardner Minshew now. So
did you get him?
Yeah. He's our backup.
The Gardner Minshew experience?
First of all, I had a great tweet, you guys, okay? Because after the Gardner Minshew got signed to be the backup quarterback, I was like, I cannot believe that the Kansas City Chiefs now in their quarterback room is the greatest quarterback ever and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much.
That was good.
2 retweets. 2. Okay.
Do you get deflated when your like social media stuff doesn't hit?
All the time.
How fucking disappointed? Because you're a comic.
I'm a comic.
You get to stand in front of a room and tell a joke, and everyone's like, ah!
Yeah.
And then you go on Twitter, and it's like crickets.
I used to think that like Twitter was a great place you can just try some jokes, and then
it's not.
It's not. And honestly, they like the crude stuff more. They want to see you go after people. And
Yeah, just telling like a funny normal joke doesn't.
No, they don't. Work. They don't care.
They don't.
Yeah. All
right.
So I'm gonna say he's probably at. Oh, how am I supposed to do math? 350.
Nope. He's at 235.
235, way over.
235. 235. Now, here's the trivia. Yep. There are five NFL quarterbacks in the history of the game with over 500 touchdown passes.
Okay.
Who are those quarterbacks and in what order?
Don't give me order.
Why?
Because that's harder.
You know number 1.
It was Tom
Brady by a lot.
Okay. So
I think he's got 689.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's just so many.
Yeah.
Why don't they really first of all, I'll answer the question. Why don't they like talk about touchdown passes like the baseball talks about home runs? Because 689 is a lot.
It is.
Well,
because he just blew everybody out of the water.
So I'm gonna say Tom Payton. I'm gonna say I'm not going to order yet. Dan Marino. Really?
Not on there.
He was slinging that ball.
Not on there.
He was really good in Ace Ventura though. Drew Brees.
He's on there.
Okay, so that's 3. I need 2 more. I'm in Denver, so I had to say Elway. Good.
He's not on there.
Good. I'm probably blanking on 2 dudes.
If anybody's on the
Kurt Warner
chat and wants to help,
nope. Really?
Nope.
I'm trying to think. Oh, Brett Favre. Is Aaron Rodgers in this category?
Aaron Rodgers is.
Nice.
You got your 5. So
okay, let me try and rank them.
Yep.
So we got Tom.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Tom, Peyton, Breeze, Rodgers, Favre.
Tom.
Breeze.
Oh,
Breeze was okay.
Peyton. Favre. Rodgers. So Rodgers wants to catch Favre. So I think he's like 20 away or something like that. So he wants to keep going so he can catch him.
So is he like a 5-0?
He's like 504.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Favre's like 518 or something.
Where do you think he's going to play next season?
Pittsburgh, maybe?
That'd be so weird to see him in a Pittsburgh uniform.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't like the Jets was weird too, but yeah, you think he's going to the Jets?
I don't think he's going to the Jets. No.
Sorry. The Steelers.
I think he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think that seems like the fit, and then like they're kind of talking, and reports are coming out that they're talking. And
does that mean Russell Wilson's out?
Yeah, Russell's not going back there. Yeah, it's over for Russell.
Where's he going? Do you think he's ever going to play again?
Yeah.
There's plenty of bad teams out
and
there.
He could back somebody up.
Sure.
He could be a backup.
Not Mahomes anymore because Minshew's in there.
Yeah.
We ain't trading him.
He could have a lot of like fake positive energy to give to somebody.
It's so fake.
Come on, believe it.
Don't you hate that guy? I'm not saying it's a Russ thing, but we've all played with a teammate who was just so overly optimistic and gung ho that it made me hate them.
Yeah,
hate them for sure.
Yeah,
it just wears you down.
Yeah,
it's meant to build you up, but it does the opposite.
Yeah. Who was that guy for you?
Oh, no one knows him.
Oh, yeah.
But like the guys didn't play pro ball.
Yeah.
But you know who I think would be like that?
Because you played basketball in college.
I played basketball in college, and we had that guy. His name was Caleb Rector. I don't care. I'll say.
Caleb.
Caleb.
Screw you, Caleb.
Yeah. But then it just makes me feel like a grumpus old man, because I was like, oh, take your positivity, shove it. But it's just, I don't know. And I think Russ has this kind of reputation now to where I don't know if a locker room really is going to be as welcoming, unless it's a team that's just in dire need of quarterback.
Yeah, he rubs people wrong.
Yeah,
it's a little bit
I
much.
get that.
All right, hey,
is that halftime?
Yeah, you did a good job at halftime. Hey, let's get this second half, guys.
I can't believe Kurt Warner doesn't have 500.
Kurt Warner, no.
Third quarter, baby. This is like one of those things. CU has their pro day next Friday.
That's right.
So first of all, explain to moi and the viewers and listeners, what is a pro day?
Yeah, pro day. I think they're calling it like the CU football showcase too, because like Coach Prime, he's gonna name it something else. It's not gonna be a pro day. It's gonna be a
Prime pro
showcase.
Day.
No, it's just a showcase, but they're airing it live on NFL Network,
not on Amazon Prime. Come on, guys.
Come on.
Put that on Twitter.
Yeah, no one will laugh.
No
one will laugh.
I'll just get death threats.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so
if you want, like, going viral on Twitter is not a good thing. Like,
no,
it's not always like, oh no, it's you did something wrong.
Also, another place not to read the comments. Don't read the stuff that's subtweeted.
Dude,
it's brutal.
It's really bad. No, that's why I want to talk about little Jordan Humphrey, because I was like just trying to be nice. Like, hey, the Broncos are gonna miss him. He was a good player. Like, hey,
you just got feet. You just
like trash loser. You don't know ball. Like all that.
Love that.
Like
I love it when people say that.
Yeah, you don't know
ball. Don't lie.
Tell me you don't ball. Tell me you don't know ball without telling me you don't know ball.
That is the most X thing I've ever heard in my life.
Meanwhile, this dude is just, if you were to see him walking down the street, he would have obviously not know
just
ball.
So angry too.
Yeah. Non-ball knowers.
Non-ball knower. That's a good shirt. Just hand those out for free. Just like, you're a non-ball knower, bud.
I thought of a funny shirt. It's like a dude like sitting at his computer and looking like this. He's like, "Can you watch my stuff?" Like you're at like a coffee shop and people ask you to watch their stuff.
First of all, don't do that. Just chance it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, what am I supposed to do?
Go to the bathroom.
Be the deputy
like,
for your
the
stuff.
Guy down.
Yeah. If someone steals your stuff, they're just stealing it. I'm not fighting for you.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd fight for myself. I'm like, yeah, I'd take it.
I always thought a funny like setup would be like it'd be like a prank show type of thing where like I ask someone to watch my stuff and she's like, okay, and I go in the bathroom and then you're working with me.
Yeah.
And you like walk in and you take my computer and run out.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And then I come out of the bathroom and I'm like, and she's like, what? I'm like, well, I thought you were watching my stuff.
We do one thing where we take the computer, put it on their table, be like, hey, will you watch my stuff? And then you leave, and then we start playing like porn noises really loud on the computer. And
you're taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
Taking it to the next level.
We always got to up it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So CU Pro Day.
Yep.
Is going to be broadcast on the NFL Network, and Pro Days are like a lot like the Combine, except it's more catered to like your school, your people, your receiver. You get to throw to your receivers. You're doing some testing, for sure. You're doing like the 40. The L shuttle, which is a cone here, a cone here, a cone here. They're all 5 yards apart. And then you started this one, you run this way, around that. No, wait, this way, this way, around that, back. Wait, this way, around that, back, like that. Anyway,
football is hard, guys.
Well, that's not football even.
That's true.
It's just a weird test. But then you got to do the bench press if you're a certain position.
Sure.
225, you put 2 plates on each side, and you probably.
What was your best?
See, I was a receiver. I didn't really have to do those.
Oh, okay. But you still worked out.
Yeah, I don't know how many I would have got, like 15 or 16 of those at the time.
So many.
I was strong then.
I'm strong.
I'm not strong
strong
anymore.
boy. Look at you.
No, but that's not like a lot. Like the dudes who do a lot.
Yeah,
are
it's
like
the linemen, the defensive linemen,
stuff like that. And then you do the jump, the high jump, the broad jump. But then like you just go out and run routes, and you get catch passes, and you're able to kind of go out there with your quarterback.
So will Shador be there?
He should. I would imagine he would throw, because it's also like
he wants to make his guys look good.
Exactly. It's not just about Shador.
Yeah.
It's
he's already getting drafted.
Everyone is already getting drafted. Although where he gets drafted, to who he gets drafted, there are people saying that he's fallen in the draft for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Not really on the field stuff. Like he's got too much swag. He's people have accused him of being arrogant.
Okay.
And so he's got to deal with that this season, of people talking crap or, trying to project where he's going to go and this and that. And he's fallen, people seeking out this one team official who didn't like his interview and then making that a story because he came off a certain way.
Sure. So this pro day can still kind of help or hurt Shedeur then.
I think it can help him because, like, you know, these scouts get to go see him being himself around his buddies,
Sure,
around his teammates. What is he like around his guys? How do they respond to him? You know, things like that.
Did his teammates go to his birthday?
Right,
Draft day.
Right.
It's Kevin Costner.
Exactly. That little stuff.
Oh, also, I'm going to Shadeur's birthday for sure. I bet that was a party.
Yeah.
But the thing is, who ultimately will this help the most? Kind of the guys that are late rounders or the guys that might be undrafted? Does it help them
to
more?
me, it's those guys who are, you know, trying to prove that they are worthy of playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I went to a D3 school. We didn't have a pro day, but so I had to go to San Jose State's pro day, which was down the street. So I went with all, you know, those D1 guys at that program, and I got to go like prove that I'm the D3 kid. I belong here.
Sure.
You know, and they had a receiver who was like really good. Who was supposed to get drafted pretty high or something like that. And I remember it was early in the morning. All the scouts were there. We were at this track at San Jose State, and his name was Edel Shepard, and he had his hood on, and like he was like pacing back and forth when it was his turn to go up, and we were all behind him because we go one at a time.
Yeah.
And he turns back to us like right before he flips off his hood. He goes, "Watch this." And he goes,
I hope he tripped.
No, he ran like a 4.68. It was not a good.
Yeah,
it was like, okay, watch this, and he ran pretty freaking slow.
Sure.
He didn't end up having a good
Was
career.
this a funny thing, or was he like serious?
No, he was serious. Like, watch this, because he had a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good season, senior year season, but then like he did the watch this thing, and then I went up and I
did you say watch this too?
No, but I ran faster.
Yeah, I was saying.
You know, and in the ball drills, I was better, and like you know, I was bigger, and so there's an opportunity for guys. And I'm not saying there's going to be other teams there other than CU, because CU is a big school. They're not going to let some randoms come in there. But it's an opportunity for the receivers like Jimmy Horn and some of these dudes who aren't Travis Hunter or Shedeur to prove that they're very talented. Yeah, and they and there's those so
and that'll be perfect with Shedeur throwing to him.
Exactly,
you know?
And these scouts are like great example of that. Joe Montana.
Heard of him.
So yeah, you've heard of Joe.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. Best Chiefs quarterback ever. Right?
Wow, Elvis Gerbach is probably watching.
Yeah, that's true.
Jeez.
But famously, Dwight Clark was drafted because I'm pretty sure he played with Joe in college, and they went to go see Joe Montana, and they just saw Dwight Clark catching passes for him.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Who's this kid?" You know?
Nice.
Or maybe Dwight was at a different college, but they went to see someone else, and they ended up seeing Dwight.
That's just how like exposure camps always work out. You know, you come to see this kid, and you're like, well, what about this one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, so you never know who's going to be there watching you, and they might be there to watch someone else.
Sure.
And they see you. You know, it's like you know, when you went to, you know, when you go out, you're going out to meet a lady, and then you catch another lady catches your eye.
I am dating a beautiful woman. Okay, you can't throw that out there. She's probably watching.
that would be good. No, but like you never know who's gonna get eyes on you in that moment.
True.
And so that'll be next Friday for CU, but things have clearly changed for the Buffs with Prime around, and the fact that it's broadcast live on the NFL Network in advance of the draft. The draft is 1 month from today, Scott.
1 month from today.
So
that's called In Unison. That was good.
Yeah, that was.
It's like we've been working together forever.
Right. This is only our first show.
Oh, by the way, I have something very important real quick before we can get back to talking to the draft.
Yeah.
I had this really unusual, useless skill of knowing certain colleges like mascots.
Oh. So
the San Jose State Spartans?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. Well, what was the Menlo?
I knew you were going to do this, and I didn't know I'm going to say, like, if you don't know it, here's my rule. Go with alliteration. So I'm going to say the Menlo College Mallards. Ducks.
Nope.
What were you guys?
We are not an animal.
Okay, you're pirates.
Not people either.
Not people even.
Yeah.
The Flashes.
Nope. Not
the Rockets.
Nope. Not Elon
Is it an M?
Musk's. What?
Does it start with an M?
No.
Okay.
Starts with an O.
Oh, the Menlo Owls?
It's not an animal.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Birds are animals.
Menlo. This is tough.
It's a tree.
Oaks.
Menlo Oaks.
Let's go. That's a good one too.
That's a tree.
That's a good. Did you call yourselves the Fighting Oaks or something dumb like that? You know,
No.
when something's very stationary, it's not very menacing. They're like, "Oh, we're the Fighting Blue Jays." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
relax."
Fighting
Like,
Blue Jays.
I love the Menlo Oaks. That's great. The
Yeah.
Menlokes.
Menlo.
Menlokes.
Yeah. But they dropped the football program
Oh,
about 10 years ago.
R.I.P. Pour one
not
out.
So good. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be having our eye on that pro day next
Yeah.
week.
So, and where is the draft at?
The draft is in Green Bay.
Okay.
The draft is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, which is a place many people probably would have never been before.
Cute little town.
But the NFL is now taking the draft to different cities. It used to be in New York every year, but now they're moving it around.
I like the moving
Wasn't
around.
it in Kansas
It was
City?
in Kansas City 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
One more way that the Chiefs are favored by the league. Was this the impetus of the sort of when they started to kind of favor the Chiefs?
Yeah. No, it was way before that.
Was this before they set up the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift relationship?
That was after
to boost viewership.
Yeah.
And then propel them into the Super Bowl so that they could win.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. It was right around that time.
Wow. So they launched this whole thing.
The whole thing.
Okay.
I feel like that's
yeah, that's a good.
Oh yeah. My question. Also, another important question. What's the population of Green Bay, Wisconsin?
Oh, I don't know, like 120,000 maybe.
That's actually that's like 110,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Which everyone just thinks like a rinky-dink town, but it's got some girth.
Yeah, I played my first ever regular season game in Green Bay. I was on the practice squad all year long. This was the end of the season in 2003. We shored up the playoff spot. We were going to play the Indianapolis Colts in 2 weeks, and it didn't matter what happened in our last game. So we rested some starters.
Sure.
So they activated some practice squad players, and I was one of them.
Did you have a good game?
No.
Cool.
No, we got absolutely destroyed. They had to win to make the playoffs.
Okay, so
they had Brett Favre and everyone cooking, like the Lambeau Field. It was the last game of the season, and they needed to win and a Minnesota loss for them to get into the playoffs.
So they were hyped up.
During our game, the word came down that Minnesota lost.
Okay,
and so it was like, so yeah, we got worked. We were a bunch of like practice squad dudes out there, like not a lot of cohesion. And Amon Green had like 2 90-yard touchdown runs when he was untouched.
2 more than you should, guys.
But Green Bay was a really cool. Yeah, Green Bay was a cool place to play. Yeah, because like we were talking about before,
I've toured
this weird
beautiful
Midwestern town.
Yeah,
and unlike every other stadium in the NFL, it's just like comes at the end of it like a cute little neighborhood.
It's in a residential area.
Yeah, we're like on the buses and people are like in the front lawns waving at us, like drinking beers and eating cheese or whatever. And
it's just a little. It's not like a 4-lane highway. It's just a street. And then there's, like I said, there's just like a row of 2-bedroom, 1-bath ranch houses.
Yeah, with a nice manicured lawn.
Yeah.
Nice people. They're not doing this to us. They're doing this to us, which was strange because most stadiums when we came in there, it was like
double birds,
doubles, man, like throwing shit on our buses and stuff, but not in.
They're
Green
just like,
Bay.
have a good game.
Yeah,
good
luck
game,
to
guys.
you.
Good luck, Nathan. They could just call you like your real name.
Yeah, no, they did. But we lost that game, and then we lost the next week in Indy. So,
all right.
But Green Bay, Wisconsin, NFL draft 1 month away. We're going to be talking about what the Broncos are going to do going forward. But look for them to try to get some playmakers on offense, but also some potential glue guys.
Hey, we need glue. You just lost a glue guy.
Lost the glue guy.
We got 2 right here. If you want us.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to get back in shape?
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, I do.
I don't.
You
can
look
be
like you're in shape.
I'll be your agent. I'll hype you up.
Okay.
I'll be your hyped up glue agent.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a suit.
Elmer's, we can get a sponsorship.
That's right. All right, we're moving into the quarter four.
Fourth quarter.
Four. Oh yeah. Four. Did every high school do that?
No, not every high school.
Mine did.
I had one high school coach that wanted us to do that, and we were really bad that year.
Yeah.
So it was like 4. We're down 30 right now.
Yeah.
4. Like, no, this is the quarter that's gonna work for us.
We're going home.
Yeah. No, 4.
We're almost done. Well, I used to think that speaking of football stuff like the 4-4-4 at the fourth quarter, I used to think that Oski, the thing you scream after catching an interception.
What?
Oh, you didn't do that?
Oski?
Oski.
No one screams.
We had Oski drill.
No one screams Oski.
It was like the tip drill.
It's a tip drill.
Tip it behind you, and you catch it.
That's
you scream
called the
Oski.
tip drill.
Well,
No.
it's called the tip drill, but we screamed Oski.
What is Oski?
I don't know. I thought it was like just a Caldwell High School thing, but it was just every little rural town did it for some reason.
Anybody out there know Oski?
Oski, Oskie. I'm guessing. I don't know. I never saw it written down, but
Oski.
yeah, you're supposed to scream Oski in the tip drill.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oski!
Oski! It was very fun, but then a lot of my teammates couldn't catch, so
Yeah.
Mainly me.
They couldn't yell Oscar.
I was getting real. They're like, oh, I just wanted to yell it.
Is that what you yell when you?
Oh, 100%.
Oscar.
Oscar. Getting their part takes longer.
Yeah.
Or took shorter time than saying Oscar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It does start with an O. It
Yeah.
works out there.
Oscar. I'm gonna Oscar. Okay.
But yeah, fourth quarter. We've talked about a lot of good stuff, but we haven't talked about how players, whether high end or kind of like the glue guys, how they spend their off season.
Yeah.
So I think you were talking about Baker and Tua.
Well, like so we're talking about the college players getting ready for the draft.
Yep.
Those guys are all business right now. They have their personal trainers, their agents have them, going out to these certain cities, and they have a nutritionist, they're lifting and running, getting ready for these pro days, getting ready. They already had the combine where they had to do the testing, but still they are staying in phenomenal shape.
Yep.
They're not really out there messing around, but the veterans, the guys who
they're still in season basically.
Yeah. I mean, this is the most important part of their, like, this is a very important trajectory for them.
Sure.
But for the veterans, they're just getting some time away.
Yeah.
And well, I think Andy, we've got some
R&R.
video of Tua Tagovailoa and Baker Mayfield and company enjoying a yacht. Can we?
Family affair. Banger tune.
Yeah. Got the kiddos there.
Yeah, where is that? Is that Breckenridge? Where is that? Is that Grand Junction? That's probably Grand Junction. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Where is that?
I don't know. It's probably too expensive for me.
It's a lot of money to do that.
Yeah.
You don't just get to
Looks like fun though.
stumble onto a yacht with that type of view and all that.
So they explain who was in that.
Tua, Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
I don't know who the other guy was. Maybe
Didn't know they were tight.
Yeah, I didn't either. Well, I think they played it somewhere together. Or did they play together?
No.
No,
I mean,
like,
he was OU,
yeah.
Bama.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
Jalen Hurts that went from.
Yeah. So why are they hanging?
I don't know. It's kind of a weird hang, but it's a fun little. That looks like a fun. Tua and Baker I would watch that buddy cop sitcom. I would watch that.
Would you feel weird if Patrick Mahomes and Bo Nix were out vacationing together?
Well, I guess. No, we can't do it like that, right? So it's the Bucks.
Well, they're still
Bucks and
Florida.
Dolphins. That's not the same.
Yeah.
So who would the equivalent be?
Regionally similar.
Yeah, I guess if there was still a St. Louis team, but there's not. So yeah, let's go Bo Nix. It'd be weird.
Yeah,
it would piss off probably both fan bases.
That would piss people off.
Yeah, I mean they would be like if it's like two linemen hang out, no one would care. But like the two stars of your respective franchises, you don't want them hanging out.
No,
you want them like honestly. I feel like if I saw like Patrick Mahomes and Max Crosby hanging out, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't like that. Who would you hate Bo Nix hanging out with? Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
Yeah, probably.
God, you hate them so much.
I don't hate them, but they're part of the rivals, man. They're part of the enemies. Your enemies.
Sure.
And so act like it. You know what I'm saying?
It. He says.
When I think back on because I played 6 years and the way that my off seasons went, they got progressively more and more like relaxed.
Sure.
As I went, like my first off season, after getting ready, I was going through the same stuff that they were. I was training, I was doing the workouts, I was going to the pro days and all that, and then I was just making every correct decision. Not an ounce of alcohol, nothing, just like super clean living and all that. And then the second off season, when I made the Broncos after my practice squad year, they sent me over to NFL Europe. So basically, I had a couple weeks off after the season was over, but then NFL Europe season was during the off season. So we had to go to Florida to
that's a lot of football.
Yeah, a brutal training camp,
I
like
bet.
a very physical one, and then go and play a season in Germany, and then come back straight to mini camps and then you're into the next season.
That's
So that was a really long year.
I don't care what sport that is. That's a lot of sports. That's but that's a lot of football.
It was a lot of football. It was hard on my body, but I also learned a lot during that time because I got to practice against Champ Bailey.
Sure.
Here, get some experience over there in Germany. Game experience, which was what they used to use the NFL Europe for. They would allocate players who were already on NFL rosters to go over there and be on one of those teams and play in these quick seasons and then come back. It was a 10-game season. You played each team twice, and then you come back and you're ready to go for the next season. But my body was pretty tired.
Sure. I feel like your off seasons, probably get a little less regimented as you go on because a little less anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I've got a contract. You know what to expect. And so you kind of have to learn how to have an off season, right?
Yeah. And like one off season, I had just broken up with my girlfriend. I always wanted to. I had always
Laura.
wanted.
I'm sorry. Is that her name?
No.
Okay.
I'd always wanted to do a solo trip to Europe.
Sure.
When you are in a
You going
relationship,
backpacking?
yeah.
Okay.
When you're in a relationship, that's a hard sell.
It's a hard sell.
I'll see you in 3 weeks, honey. I'm going to Europe by myself.
I'm not inviting you.
So it was always something that I had to just.
She's got her bags packed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, sorry.
No, not
Yeah,
you.
Just
no,
me.
this is one ticket. I'm going. So that was not something that could ever like actually do.
Yeah.
But until like when I was single, and I'm like, I'm going to Europe.
Yeah.
So in like my fifth off season or whatever, I went over to Europe. I spent a week in London. I had some friends out there. A week in Amsterdam. I didn't know anybody there.
Sure.
And then a week in Barcelona. I didn't know anybody there, and it was an awesome.
It was
trip.
fun.
It was, yeah. I met a lot of people. Met some friends that I stayed friends with for years after that, and they like didn't know anything about American football. They're just like, "What's with the pointy balls?
The pointy.
Like, what's with all the starting and stopping? Like, we don't understand it." So that was an English accent.
That was really good.
Yeah. I met some.
I don't do accents because it usually gets into a nasty
What about
territory.
Kevin Harlan?
Yeah. Ooh, Kevin Harlan.
Harlan.
I probably like watched at least 4 of his
Scott
games.
Schaefer.
It's not bad.
He does this.
He does. Yeah. He goes a little inflection.
Goes there, over here, and we're back.
Yeah.
And then my final off season before my last season with the Broncos, I was negotiating a new contract, and I did. I was a glue guy. Got to get a little bit of a glue guy signing bonus, but I was still on league minimum. And then it was over for me. And then and then my last off season I got cut. I was trying to get back in, so I was like, it's like you go back to being like the young kid trying to get back on the roster again, and then it's a slow burn, and you realize it's over, and then you disappear forever.
Well, that just got depressing.
Well, it is depressing, Scott.
But I still want to talk more about your girlfriend that you broke up with. No, I get that. I think it's like no offseason is probably the same, but I feel like there's would you try and stick around Denver? Would you try and stick around quarterbacks? Would you start? Where would you go?
It wasn't like back then. It wasn't like all the quarterbacks and receivers got together and threw in the offseason. Yeah. It wasn't really like that. Everyone went and did their thing.
Did their own thing.
And then we reported back at the end of March or the first week of April and just got to work.
Yeah.
And it was fun because Mike Shanahan and Sean Payton operate very similarly as far as their football view and the way they like to structure the season and the year. And Sean Payton and Mike Shanahan both like the teams to report back at the end of March or early April with no coaches, just running and lifting. That's it. No football stuff.
Sure.
We're not in the classroom. We're not teaching you plays. The coaches aren't out there coaching you.
Stay conditioned.
You are lifting and you're running with your buddies and our strength coaches, and that's it.
Sure.
You're not going to see the coaches out there.
Good.
You're going to show up in the locker room. You're going to eat breakfast, whatever, and you're just going to run and lift. Get in shape.
Love that.
Because we want to be a fighting force that's all doing the same shit.
Yeah.
And so the first month is all just us getting in shape together. And I really valued that time. I really loved it. So that's coming here pretty soon. I know the new CBA is a little different. I don't know when they report, maybe mid-April. But when they do, it'll just be them and the strength coaches running and lifting and getting in shape together. And that's when you start to throw out there together too, and you get on the same page. And there's plenty of time if you do that. I think the let's get together and throw in this weird location thing is a little performative now with the internet. I do think there's a value in getting away. That said, the NFL, the CBA rules don't allow you to be at the facility as much as you used to. And so it's harder for these guys to connect on the field repetition wise because the young guys, because they don't have as much time.
Yeah.
There's only one practice in there's no double days anymore in training camp.
Sure.
Things like that. You don't have as much time to create the connection. And the thing that made Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Peyton and all those guys so good, and that passing renaissance that happened in the 2000s and 2010s was because they spent so much time together.
Sure.
They got to have so many reps in the offseason and training camp. There's so many practices. There weren't restrictions on how long practices could be. And now there are. And so the young teams trying to come up and keep pace with the teams like the Chiefs, who have been doing it for so long. They have that connection. You're playing catch up with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's hard. But so I understand the instinct to want to do it in the offseason, but I also see the value in just getting away.
Yeah.
So
Well, we mentioned the draft happening in 1 month.
Yeah.
In Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
So how many weeks, or is it after the draft, will the Broncos kind of have their finalized lineup?
What do you mean their line? Like their roster?
Their whole roster.
Here's the deal. So 90 guys will be on this offseason roster. So as soon as this draft is over, they'll draft their 8-7 guys, and they'll sign a bunch of
Sure.
rookie free
Yep.
agents to come in and try to make the team, right? And some of them will end up being camp bodies, and some will end up making the practice squad. But there's 90 dudes who, within days after the draft, the Broncos will have that 90-man roster,
Right.
And then it'll be up to those guys to come in and work for it,
Yeah.
you know. And typically, there's about a 30% turnover on each team from year to year.
Yeah.
Sean Payton talked about
It's happening with the Eagles
It's not
right
like
now.
you can't just pick up where you left off.
Right.
You have to shake the board off of all the pieces, and
Some
then
of your
start
coaches
again.
get picked off too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an entirely new Broncos team. They went 10-7. They whooped up on the Chiefs in the last game of the
I was
year.
there. I
Absolute
saw it.
destroyed.
That was bad luck. I was wearing a cool sweater.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was looking good.
I bet you thought it was cool.
No one saw it because I was up there.
Oh, you were?
I was up there. Yeah,
Really?
I was up there.
Bad game to go to too.
Bad game to
For a
go to,
Chiefs
but
fan.
like I said, I like Denver fans and I like tailgating here. So we have my
good,
buddy's got a good spot, so we tailgate with them.
a lot of people. Okay, so there's an assumption that, and I know we're about to go over, but I just want to ask you a quick question about your thoughts on that stadium, because you're a Chiefs fan, you're from Kansas City area. A lot of people want a new stadium. They want the Walton Petters to build this new fancy stadium. I happen to love Empower Field. I think it's a freaking awesome place to play a game and to watch a game. What's your spectator view of this field?
My view of that field it's always been iconic. I love the rolling kind of stands.
Yeah.
It's iconic, and I love the cityscape around it.
Yeah.
I have always been a huge proponent of downtown stadiums.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you can't get enough of. Plus, that little Jefferson Park area off to the left of it is a beautiful area, and you've got it made there. Just don't touch it.
I love it.
It's a great facility. I don't know about the bones of it. People have talked about bones, like houses and stuff. I don't know if it's old and rickety,
no,
but
it's like 20 years old.
Okay, yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
It's in a primo spot, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the few probably downtown kind of urban stadiums that actually has parking and tailgating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because with the Chiefs and Royals are right there next to each other, and it's just parking lot. You can't see anything.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. It's a great spot to tailgate.
Yeah.
But it's just those two things, right? And I think it has way more ambiance there where it's at now. I've heard, like put it out by the airport.
Yeah.
I think that would be a bad.
It's already hard enough to get, because
your airport's in Nebraska. Why would you move the team to Nebraska?
And the roads going in and out would get so congested and clogged. There's not a lot of ways to get in and out of it. Heard about C470 and 25 out down by Lone Tree.
Uh-huh.
Have you been down that way? Yeah, I've heard that's a possible site. But then also the Elitch Gardens area across the freeway could be a new one. But it's also a fine stadium.
Why move it that far?
So it can be state of the art. So it can have a dome over it. So if we can have a Super Bowl here.
I'm kind of tired of all the dome talk.
U2 to come play here or whatever. like they want to host stuff here.
Yeah.
And the inclement weather. Yeah, exactly. The Dixie Chicks. No, they're just the Chicks.
The Chicks, yeah. I don't want every stadium to be a dome. I like that football is
the weather. It's supposed to be the weather.
100%, and especially in Denver. Like, why would you dome that and somehow lose a little weather advantage? I don't get that.
Yeah,
I don't get how any
soft.
Well, that's why Minnesota's soft.
Knowers,
Minnesota's soft.
Yeah, they are.
The Vikings in a dome.
Yeah,
pansies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they did have a Super Bowl in New York one time, and it wasn't great. Like the weather wasn't awesome.
Then don't have it in New York.
Exactly.
Have it
or just like football fans can handle the weather, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No. It's a weird thing.
All
but
right. Anyway.
Yeah.
We got 2 minutes left on the clock. All right.
Oh, so I'm gonna throw. Is this like overtime?
Yeah, it's like okay. Well, it's 2 minutes. It's not overtime.
Oh, just 2 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, man.
2 minute warning. Nice.
Yeah, 2 minute warning. Pretend you're.
Also, I have a hot take. The 2 minute warning is not the 2 minute warning. The 2 minute, not the 2 minute timeout. 2:01 is a 2 minute warning. Okay, because here comes a 2 minute timeout.
That doesn't make any sense.
This it does.
No, it doesn't.
It got me like 8 retweets. All right, go with the 2 minute warning. Okay,
so I want you to role play right now. You are not that kind of role.
Turn on that music, Andy.
Oski, what is it?
Oski.
Oski. So you're an NFL quarterback.
Okay.
You've been in the league for 8 years. You got a ton of money.
Oh, so much.
All right. And you got an off-season vacation.
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes on the clock. I want you to describe what your vacation would be like.
Okay.
Go, Andy.
Oh, I don't think I'd be good at off seasons. I am not what you call you mentioned how like coaches really don't talk to you. You just do your own thing right now.
Yeah.
I've lacked self-discipline a lot. And if I think I've 6 years in, bunch of money, I can probably do whatever I want to.
Yeah.
I'm probably going away. You're not gonna find me.
Where are you going? Are you going to a darkness
not
retreat?
doing the darkness retreat. I don't think I can be that quiet for that long. But I'm not touching a football, man. I'm not. I'm gonna go like, you remember when Thor got fat because he started drinking beer and not giving a shit?
Yeah.
I think that's probably what I would do.
Really?
I think I would just kind of go off in nowhere, do whatever I wanted because they demanded so much of me during the season.
Yeah.
That now it's Scott's time. Okay.
Okay.
It's Scotty time.
All right.
I'm gonna go.
Where are you gonna go though?
I'm probably, somewhere really exotic like Centennial, Colorado. I don't know. I don't know. I'd go somewhere probably cold. I like to layer up.
Okay, so you wouldn't go to the beach. You wouldn't be
no.
and Baker there.
You wouldn't. I'd be in like Durango, Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be there. I'd have a hot tub in the middle of a
so
field
you're making
that has
$50 million
snow.
a year, and you're going to Durango, and you're drinking beer.
Yes, but then once people start figuring out that I'm there, I got to go somewhere else. So I'm just gonna do like this little Bill Murray tour where I just show up and people are like, "What's happening?"
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and so I just want to be a man of mystery. And I'm. You mentioned that one off season where you didn't touch alcohol. I'm touching all the alcohol, okay? And I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna do what I want to do because the organization has been. I've carried them on my shoulders for the last 6 seasons, and this is Scotty's time. Okay, that's what I'm doing. If you want to come along, too bad.
Are you buying drinks for everybody at the bar?
Yeah, it's like one of those things. It'd be like sneaky kind of millionaire behavior.
Yeah.
Where you just like walk into a restaurant,
pay for everyone's bill,
100%.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably won't like get the credit for it. That'll be cool. Oh, but then I'll start getting the credit for it because I want the credit for it.
Okay.
And they'll be like, yeah. So I'm just going around.
Okay, so he's going to Durango.
Going to Durango, Colorado.
All right.
You better get ready, Silverthorne.
That was pretty underwhelming vacation for the $50 million a year man.
That's the thing. If I have $50 million, I can do whatever I want. And I want to do I want to do nothing. I'm basically the guy from Office Space.
You are the man of the people. And
not the guy who wants to
stay local.
Yeah, I just want to do nothing.
Yeah. Hey, man. Well, you did something today.
I did.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
I want to thank you for joining me.
Hey, can I do it again?
Can we? Can we do?
Let's do it again.
See you next Monday?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Want to mention, though, this is brought to you by Trusted American Mortgage. Go to trustamerican.com. Find out how much they can save you. You like saving money? Find out how much they can save you today. Scott Shaffer, thanks for joining me on Off
Thanks for having me, Nate.
I'm Nate Jackson. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.